Let's go with the last question. What surprised you about her, and what little you knew about her?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know a lot about her. I mean, I knew Hannah Montana and stuff, but I hadn't seen much of it.
So is it because you were living in Australia or living under a rock?
Yeah, I guess living under a rock. I mean, I knew who she was, but I had no idea of how big she was.
Okay.
I guess what surprised me the most was how normal she was, how like kind she was when I first met her. She's an extremely welcoming
Stop
person.
laughing. My publicist is laughing. I am kind, just not to you.
She's
Have you seen my schedule for
I guess
press?
what surprised me is
I'm not kind to you.
When he first met you.
When I first met her, and
She was
then
very
how crazy
kind.
she became really quickly from the first point.
I heard that. You go, she's really kind. And someone,
I heard that too.
that's my publicist. I know about it. It's fine.
Kind when he first met you.
Yeah, when I first
She's really kind. She's really cute. And then we started filming.
And then we got to know her.
Let me ask you, because you clearly weren't a big fan of Miley before you knew her. Who
Thanks.
are you
I
a big
wasn't a
fan
fan.
of? Oh, you just weren't familiar.
Yeah.
Who are you a big fan of? Nobody?
Lots of people.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Man crush.
Because I feel like the American audience is just getting to know you now. So this is like an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I love actors like Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear. He was,
Oh, okay, sorry.
no, I genuinely mean that though. I've seen stuff he's done before, and it's, it's such a great thing to be able to work with someone that's done so many films and has worked so much. And it's so interesting to see how they conduct themselves behind the camera, when they're not filming, and also when they are filming. I mean, apart from a particular scene, making some faces, he's so professional in what he does.
I have more scenes with him.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, what did you think of this young man on set?
It was very, very, very good. Thought everybody was. We had a really good,
Yeah,
it was a good vibe on
really
this set,
great.
right?
Really great.
Julianne
Good
thought
summer.
made it a nice summer in Georgia. A lot of us had our families. We had young kids, and we had our families.
Yeah.
We were shooting at Anna State, one of the most beautiful. It's only like 12 years ago. I was making The Gift in Savannah, and it was February or January, and I drove out with my wife, and we looked at this little place, Tybee Island. It was 3 miles by 1 mile, and it was all boarded up, and cold. We took our dog, still around, out for a little walk on the beach there. And thought, can you imagine what this place is like in summer? Blink, and 2 years went by, and there we were. When I first read the script, it didn't say where it was being shot, and I instantly was like, this has got to be taking place at Tybee Island. And sure enough, it was. Nice.
Let's check out one from Abigail. That's the doozy. Brace yourself. It's for Nicholas. I myself am trying to become an established and published author. Do you have any advice for me or anyone else wanting to get known? So we'll take that one first and then go on.
Yeah, I think in the end, it goes back to what Miley says and what she's learned from Odette. Some of this just comes down to being very good at your craft, and I think there's a learning curve associated with anything, whether it's acting, whether it's directing, whether it's writing, and you have to be willing to put the time in to become better at it. You have to read, you have to write. And with that said, it's important to know that it's not magic to get a book published. There are agents out there looking for really quality manuscripts all the time. I know that unpublished authors don't think so, but it's very true. And you get it into the hands of the right agent, and if they like it, they'll submit it to a publishing house. But I think really, it's the last part of that that's the hard part, and that is, how do you move your book out of the store? If you walk into a Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or something, you see all these books, why yours? That is the magic question. How does that work in anything? There's a little bit of magic involved, a little bit of luck. You have a good product backing it up, but still there are some elements of just good fortune.
Abigail, take a marketing class. That would be good. Did you have the whole story in mind? Oh, alrighty.
Did I have the whole story in mind?
You're still on that question, believe it or not. Okay, did you have the whole story in mind when you wrote it, or did you just kind of go with the flow?
No, I had the whole story in mind. I told Miley before I wrote Word 1 what the whole story pretty much was. Not maybe every single element and tonality for her, but she knew pretty much exactly what the story was going to be.
So you wrote it specifically for her?
Yeah, pretty much. Right? I mean, I knew if it was going to get made into a film, she was going to play Ron. I did know that.
Smart man. let's go on to the next question now. Thank you. Caitlin O from Miley. I'm a huge fan. I was wondering, how did this movie, the last song, inspire you?
I think it just mostly inspired me to continue to make films. I mean, going into this, I wasn't sure. I had done the Hannah Montana movie, which doesn't really count because, again, it was like my comfort zone. It was something easy, and it was just an extended kind of version of the show. But, I mean, I went into this being like, hopefully this is something that I really like to do. If not, you know, I always can fall back on my music. And, again, I think I had such a good time that after that I was like, I don't want it to be over. I mean, even on the show, it's kind of a relief. It's bittersweet, but I'm kind of excited just to move on to something else. This wasn't ready to move on, and it wasn't just, you know, working with just these people, but it's just